We're going to turn to politics now, and the president issuing a new challenge to the GOP, not apologizing for his use of executive orders to bypass Congress and taking it one step further.
Middle-class families can't wait for Republicans in Congress to do stuff. So sue me. As long as they're doing nothing, I'm not going to apologize for trying to do something.
We'll talk about that in a moment. This comes as a new poll rates President Obama the worst president since World War II. He beat out President George W. Bush, President Carter, and President Nixon for the top spot. Joining me now, David Webb, radio talk show host of The David Webb Show, and Leslie Marshall, syndicated radio talk show host of The Leslie Marshall Show.com. Both are Fox News contributors. And Leslie, it's nice to have you in studio.
Nice to be
next
here.
to each other. It's great to have you both here.
Face to face on the camera.
We'll start with Leslie, right, Dave? Because she's here so infrequently. So sue me, the president says. Why take that tone, Leslie?
I think, honestly, because a lot of Democrats and Republicans as well find this. And, you know, we have heard Republicans throughout the country on television, on radio, that are saying, enough. Can we put money and time, certainly for the taxpayers, at what they've elected people to do on both sides of the aisle? Let's get down to business. This isn't business. So I think he was mocking them. And I think he, with ratings, can mock Congress because their approval ratings are even lower than the president's.
Do you agree, David?
It sounds great, but here's the reality.
Oh.
President Obama, now rated by registered voters, this is key, as in a Quinnipiac poll as one of the worst presidents, or the worst president since World War II, is facing a Congress that has oversight responsibility, elected by the voters in 2012, so a Republican majority there, to do their job. He's also a president that doesn't have to face re-election. He's very combative, and he's been overturned by the Supreme Court 13 times. 13 times they've gone against him on his overreach of the imperial presidency. So he can say sue me all he wants, but the Supreme Court has spoken, the American voters are speaking, and it's Democrats who should worry. They're the ones who want to get reelected.
So the issue that some are taking with this tone, Leslie, is that it feels, according to Ed Rogers in the Washington Post, that this is more of a post-presidential tone. It's not very presidential of him to say, so sue me, to Congress, who's saying we're going to sue the president. We'll get to that in a second about where we're actually at if both sides are there. But do you think he needs to take a tone that is more about pushing a certain agenda forward rather than sort of staying with the muck that, as you point out, is Congress, according to the public?
Well, honestly, I've always been taught, don't get too confident or too cocky. And I do think that the president is doing that a bit right now, and he has. But to David's point, he's not up for re-election, does have to think about his fellow Democrats for this November.
I don't think he actually thinks about his fellow Democrats.
No, and I would agree with you there, and that's it. We can't agree anymore. That's it.
That's all.
We're sitting next to each
You've
other.
reached your quota for the day, guys.
The bottom line is, I feel taking the high road would be the best road for the president to take, which is, they want to sue me, they're going to sue me. That's not what the American people should do. I feel that his tone's a bit defensive on this, and I have seen that in times with this president.
And what is the result of that, David?
The result of that is exactly what's the reality. Congress Supreme Court overturning him, the American people turning on him. Why? Because the agenda is not good for America. We have stagflation, which is where we really are right now. We have an economy that's not growing, and a president that's detached.
Okay, so where's the room for hope before we leave here? Since we're all a little like talking about the president not being super, there's not a lot of optimism, a lot of optimism around lawmakers as well. Where is there the hope for the next couple of years for this country?
Well, I think that this leads to hope with the strength of the voters in November. I think that they have to remember that one vote can count. I think that we have seen by Eric Cantor's defeat that somebody can come out of nowhere. By the way, I remember saying Bill who from Arkansas years back, and that the people do have the power not to just have inside the Beltway people, rich people, political background people. If we want people to get to work, stop just giving it lip service. And when you go to the polls,
I'm
vote
sure you
the
agree
bums
with that.
out.
Would
That
be
don't get
2 for 2 that you guys agree with.
Right, but here's the practical hope. If the Republicans take the Senate, they can send bills to the president because Harry Reid can't block him anymore. And now the president will have to either go against the American people and what's good for them, or he'll have to go along with good policy.
They have to learn to work together. It doesn't matter.
They're not going to work together when they're divided.
The voters actually decide, as Leslie points out, they do have the power to still do that, right?
Yeah.
Leslie, David, great to see you as always.
Good to see you,
Thank you very much.